Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Paul Andrew, the Vice President for Public Affairs and Communications here at Harvard, and I want to thank you for joining us here today and to welcome those watching on harvard.edu. It is my privilege to introduce the Senior Fellow of the Harvard Corporation and Chair of Harvard's Presidential Search Committee, Penny Pritzker.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you. Thank you all very much. What a phenomenal day. Aren't you thrilled? Yeah. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Penny Pritzker, and as you heard, I'm the Senior Fellow of Harvard Corporation, and I also chaired the Presidential Search Committee. And I am so pleased and so honored to be here today to celebrate this important moment in Harvard's history. Harvard was founded nearly 4 centuries ago, and in all that time, only 29 people have served as its president. And today, I am privileged, I'm delighted to announce the election of Harvard's 30th president, the person who will lead the university towards its 5th century of learning and service, Claudine Gay. Oh my God, this is too much. Thank you, thank you. Claudine is a remarkable leader. She's done outstanding work through unusually challenging times as the Dean of Harvard's largest and most academically diverse faculty, our Faculty of Arts and Sciences, which spans disciplines ranging from biology, physics, and engineering, to economics and anthropology, to philosophy and literature. Claudine is a remarkable scholar. She's one of the Academy's most creative and rigorous thinkers about vital aspects of democracy and political participation. She is a political scientist who is deeply engaged with practical issues and concerns, someone who is strongly focused on how the ideas and inventions born in our universities can make a positive difference in the world. Claudine is a remarkable teacher and mentor. She's passionate about the experience of our students, about the quality of our educational programs, about the importance of expanding educational access and opportunity, and about the power of education to transform lives. Claudine is a bridge builder. She consults widely, she collaborates naturally, she seeks ways to transcend boundaries between disciplines and schools. She brings people together in a spirit of common purpose, whether envisioning the possibilities of quantum science and engineering, or affirming the power of the humanities, or confronting the persistence of social and economic inequality. Claudine is a resolute exponent of free inquiry and expression. She knows that the pursuit of truth depends fundamentally on a campus climate in which people from different backgrounds and points of view can come together and talk candidly and respectfully about issues that matter. Claudine is a champion of inclusion. She knows that our community is made stronger and better when we draw the widest possible pool of talent and ability. She embraces the imperative of shaping a university culture in which people from different backgrounds can thrive. Claudine is a beacon of excellence. She sets high standards for herself. She set high standards for others. She knows that Harvard's capacity to do good in the world rests on the extraordinary talents and energies of the people who come here to do research and create new knowledge, to teach and to study, to work and to learn, and to pursue causes larger than themselves. Not least of all, Claudine is a terrific human being. She's engaging, warm, empathetic, humane, at once confident and humble. A pleasure to spend time with. Someone with deep integrity and someone who's intensely curious. She's always eager to learn more about fields beyond her own. Always interested to learn about other people, their work, their lives, their ideas, their aspirations. She leads from values, and those values run deep. So before we hear from Claudine, let me just say a few brief words about our search. Since early July, our search committee has met formally some 20 times for hours at a stretch, in addition to many, many informal engagements. We've been greatly helped by the extensive outreach and thoughtful advice of 3 excellent advisory committees comprised of faculty, students, and staff from across Harvard schools. We've spoken with hundreds of people, individually or in groups, to solicit their nominations and their counsel. We have benefited from written comments sent by hundreds of members of the worldwide Harvard community. We received more than 600 nominations, and we had the opportunity to meet and talk with an array of extraordinarily impressive nominees from both inside and outside of Harvard. All of us on the search committee have learned a great deal from this experience about Harvard and about people's hopes for its future. On behalf of the search committee, I want to express our deep gratitude to everyone who's offered us counsel on the search. Your views have not only informed the selection of our new president, they've also produced a wealth of valuable perspectives on the university's opportunities and challenges as Harvard approaches its 5th century. And besides conveying thanks from the search committee, let me express my personal thanks to all of my colleagues on the committee. I could not have asked for a more dedicated group, more thoughtful partners in such an important endeavor. So finally, before I close, I want to recognize our 29th and current president, Larry Bacow. It's a love fest. I love this. Larry has done an absolutely superb job leading Harvard in its recent years. He has guided Harvard through unprecedented challenges while driving important academic initiatives forward. He's led with wisdom, humanity, humility, and grace. Larry, thanks to you, Harvard and its presidency are poised to move from strength to strength. And now, as we embark on this transition, I want to salute our new president-to-be, someone with a deep commitment not just to this university and its people, but to thinking imaginatively about how Harvard and its people can best be a force for good in the world. I am proud to introduce, for the first time as Harvard's president-elect, Claudine Gay.
Thank you. This is crazy, right? So I thought I was the only person still on campus, so I was a little bit worried when they mentioned having a reception, but great. Thank you so much, Penny, for that wonderful introduction. I am absolutely humbled by the confidence that the governing boards have placed in me. I'm also incredibly humbled by the prospect of succeeding President Bacow in leading this remarkable institution. President Bacow, or Larry, as we all know you, working with you over the last few years has really been a masterclass. You have shown me that leadership isn't about one person. It's about all of us moving forward together. And that's a lesson I take with me into this next journey. So thank you for that. And now I'm excited to introduce myself to all of you. Hi. I'm Claudine Gay, and I'm honored to stand before you as the next president of Harvard University. So I have to admit that, as I say those words, I can't help but think of a much younger version of myself, a first-year graduate student moving into Haskins Hall, lugging the things that seemed most essential to my success at the time: a futon, a Mac Classic II, and a cast iron skillet for frying plantains. I was full of excitement, though not exactly sure where the government department was, very much at step one in my Harvard journey. And that Claudine could not possibly have imagined that her path would lead here. But I carry forward both her excitement and her belief in the infinite possibility of Harvard. So my parents are immigrants from Haiti. They came to the US with very little and put themselves through college while raising our family. My mom became a registered nurse and my dad a civil engineer, and it was the City College of New York that made those careers possible. College was always the expectation for me. My parents believed that education opens every door, but of course that gave me three options. I could become an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer, which I'm sure that other kids of immigrant parents can relate to. So let's just say that becoming an academic was not what my parents had in mind. So my decision to pursue a liberal arts and sciences education was a leap of faith, really, for all of us. But thankfully, my parents supported my choice, and by virtue of that fact, my life's path took shape. Attending Stanford as an undergraduate ignited everything for me. That's where I discovered the reach of my own curiosity, where I experienced firsthand the detective work that is research, and learned for the first time that knowledge is actually created and not just passed on. And it's where I found what I wanted to do, what I felt born to do with my life. And when I was applying to graduate schools, I needed a place where no matter what I chose to pursue, there was excellence there. And that place was Harvard. So it was easy to say yes when I had the opportunity first to come back as a professor and then to serve as a dean. I love this place. Harvard is where I found my intellectual home. It has nurtured and inspired me since I first set foot in the yard. I am deeply invested not only in what Harvard is today, but also in what Harvard's leadership means for the future. With each leadership role I've taken on at Harvard, from the Dean of Social Science to the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, I've been connected to wider worlds, to new questions and new possibilities for how, through research and through teaching, the world can be better than it is today. Few things give me more joy, more energy, than talking to a colleague working in a field that is entirely new to me, or hearing the questions that are on the minds of a new generation of students. It's those conversations that let me see the world with fresh eyes and reveal things that were previously invisible to me, from quantum science and engineering to ancient Greek theater to the gut microbiome. That is what our mission is all about. It calls us to take a leap into the unknown, to have the bravery, the drive, the unbridled curiosity to search for answers to questions that really matter. That's Harvard to me. So today we're in a moment of remarkable and accelerating change, socially, politically, in the economy, technologically. So many fundamental assumptions about how the world works and how we should relate to one another are being tested and in some cases turned on their head. There's less trust in institutions of all kinds and a shift in how people view them. There's endless access to information, but it's actually getting harder to know what to believe. There are new ways for people to speak their truth, regardless of whether they hold positions of power. And then there's a restlessness in this new generation to constantly push for something better, motivated by the belief that change is both necessary and possible, particularly when we take problems on together. And Harvard has always found a way to meet the moment. We have a long history of rising to meet new challenges, of converting this energy into forces of renewal and reinvention. And with the strength of this extraordinary institution behind us, we enter a moment of possibility, one that calls for deeper collaboration across the university, across all of our remarkable schools, an urgency for Harvard to be engaged with the world, and a need to bring bold, brave, pioneering thinking to our greatest challenges. When I imagine Harvard in the years ahead, I see a university that is even more connected to the world through our scholarship, the questions we pursue, the partnerships that we build to advance and share knowledge, through our educational programs, who's in our classrooms, whether that classroom is here on campus or online, and what we're teaching them, and through our public engagement, how we extend Harvard's extraordinary teaching and research to have an impact on issues that matter. The idea of the ivory tower, that is the past, not the future of academia. We don't exist outside of society, but as part of it. And that means that Harvard has a duty to lean in and engage and to be in service to the world. Our people, our collections, our research, how we use our convening power in business, in law, and public policy, for all of that, our commitment must be to openness and engagement. So together, we've accomplished so much in recent years, opening the way for important new possibilities, from radically advancing our understanding of natural and artificial intelligence, to our collective commitment to issues of climate and sustainability, and our bold agenda for reckoning and repair, inspired by the groundbreaking report on Harvard and the legacy of slavery. But our work is not done. There are new frontiers for us to explore on the future of democracy, why it matters, and how to sustain it, or how we bring the insight and imagination of literature, of philosophy, of the arts to a troubled world, the role business can play in advancing innovation and growth, or in the life sciences, where we can bring together the extraordinary strengths of both Harvard and our region across the spectrum, from basic science to its most beneficial applications, to shape the future of human health. For me, that's what the role of president is about: harnessing the power of ideas and then supporting the people who pursue them. As I start my tenure, there's so much more for me to discover about the institution that I love, and I'm looking forward to doing all of that with our whole community. I am so grateful for the leaders who have come before and the powerful legacies they have left for Harvard. I will build on those legacies. And even as I say that, I'm reminded of Larry's frequent adage that leadership is a team sport. And here we're fortunate because our community is a large and diverse team. We are united by our commitment to academic excellence and to the values that ensure it. Embracing those values, especially academic freedom and open inquiry, is not only the path to excellence, it's how we marshal our breadth and diversity to build a legacy that will make all of us proud. And it's our people who make that legacy possible. They set the standard for excellence in every field. Together, they've created a culture that is ambitious, broad-gauged, and that recognizes that in shaping the next generation of scholars and thinkers and teachers and leaders, our impact is magnified. And so, as I prepare for this next step in my Harvard journey, I do so with the same boundless optimism in our potential to meet this moment of opportunity. I am grateful beyond words for your confidence in me to serve as Harvard's 30th president. And alongside all of you, I can't wait to get to work after the holidays. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can I stay here? And now we get to party. All right, thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes our speaking program. Thank you for joining us here and on harvard.edu. And there's some refreshments here for those in the room. So thank you for joining us.